Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are broadly defined as polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones and their derivatives or as substances that yields one of these compounds. Carbohydrates are composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. The functional groups present in them includes hydroxyl groups. OSE indicates the sugar molecule. Carbohydrates are most abundant of all the organic compounds in nature. In plants, energy from the sun is used to convert carbon dioxide and water into the carbohydrate glucose. Many of glucose molecules are made into long chain polymers of starch that stores energy. About 65% of the food in our diet consists of carbohydrates. Each day, we utilize carbohydrates in foods such as bread, pasta, potatoes, and rice. Other carbohydrates called disaccharides include sucrose, that is our table sugar, and lactose in milk. During digestion and cellular metabolism, carbohydrates are converted into glucose, which is oxidized further in our cells to provide our body energy and to provide the cells with carbon atoms for building molecules of protein, lipids, and nucleic acids. In plants, a polymer of glucose called cellulose builds the structural framework. Cellulose has other important uses also. The wood in our furnitures, the pages in our notebook, and the cotton in our clothing are made of cellulose. Functions of carbohydrates in cells. Major source of energy for the cell. Major structural components of plant cell. Immediate energy in the form of glucose. Reserve or stored energy in the form of glycogen. Classification of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are classified according to the number of subunits that make them up. They are monosaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides are simple sugars or the compounds which possess a free aldehyde CHO group or ketone C double bond O group and two or more hydroxyl groups, that is OH groups. They are the simplest sugars and cannot be hydrolyzed further into smaller units. Monosaccharides contain a single carbon chain and are classified on the basis of number of carbon atoms they possess and as aldoses or ketoses depending upon their groups. Classification of carbon atoms. The sugars are classified on the basis of carbon atoms into triose, tetroses, pentoses, and hexoses. Carbohydrates with free carbonyl groups are in hemiacetal form and gives positive test for Benedict's and Felling's reagent. Without having been hydrolyzed, they are referred as reducing sugars. The others are the non-reducing sugars. Oligosaccharides. These are compound sugars that yield 2 to 10 molecules of the same or different monosaccharides on hydrolysis. Accordingly, an oligosaccharide yielding 2 molecules of monosaccharide on hydrolysis is designated as disaccharide, and the monosaccharide that yields 3 molecules of monosaccharide subunits are named as trisaccharides. Examples for disaccharides are sucrose, lactose, and maltose, trisaccharides, raminose, gentianose, and so on. Disaccharides, they are composed of two monosaccharides. Cells can make disaccharides by joining two monosaccharides by biosynthesis. For example, for sucrose, glucose and fructose are combined. Actually, sucrose is a table sugar what we use at home, found naturally in plants, sugarcane, sugar beets, honey, and maple syrup. Sucrose may be purified from plant sources into brown, white, and powdered sugars. Lactose, which is made of glucose and galactose combination, the primary sugar in milk and milk products is the lactose. Many people have problems digesting large amounts of lactose. Maltose, it is the combination of glucose and another glucose molecule. produced when starch breaks down, used naturally in fermentation reactions of alcohol and beer manufacturing. Polysaccharides. Polysaccharides contains 10 or more monosaccharide units attached together. The examples for polysaccharides are starch, glycogen, and fiber. The polysaccharides are further subdivided into homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides, which yields on hydrolysis a single monosaccharide molecule, and heteropolysaccharides produces a mixture of monosaccharides on hydrolysis. Based on their functional aspect, the polysaccharides may be divided into two groups. They are nutrient, that is a digestible polysaccharides. They act as metabolic reserve for monosaccharides in plants and animals. The examples are starch, glycogen, and inulin. The second one is the structural or indigestible polysaccharides. These serve as rigid mechanical structures in plants and animals. Examples are cellulose, pectin, chitin, and hyaluronic acid. Starch. The major digestible polysaccharide in our diet is the starch, the storage form of carbohydrate in plants. The sources of starch are wheat, rice, corn, barley, potatoes, tubers, etc. The two components present in starch are the amylose and amylopectin. Amylose, it is in the form of straight chain that is linked together with the alpha 1,4 linkages indicating 300 to 5500 glucose units per molecule. The weight ranges from 10 to the power 5 to 10 to the power 6. Generally, amylose are water soluble and gives blue color with iodine. Amylopectins, they contain a straight chain with several branched chains which are arranged in a alpha 1,4 and beta 1,6 linkage units. One molecule of amylopectin contains 50,000 to 5 lakh glucose molecules. The molecular weight ranges from 10 to the power 7 to 10 to the power 8. It is insoluble in water and gives purple color with iodine. Cellulose. These form the cell walls in plant cells and also called as fiber or roughage. They are indigestible by humans. Glycogen, the storage form of glucose in the body is glycogen. They are stored in the liver and muscles, found in tiny amounts of meat sources also. They are not found in plants. They are not a significant food source of carbohydrate.